we're talking about two offenses that have been on fire, two teams that have certainly stuttered the last 2 weeks. I think Detroit, Jared Goff has had some struggles. New Orleans have basically got no healthy wide receivers. Is this a game that, because of those injuries, you're looking to avoid?
Yeah, it doesn't feel particularly great. And the 45.5 over-under feels a little ambitious in some ways. That's giving Detroit 4 they're favored by. But Goff, he kind of... The one thing we've been able to count on with Jared Goff is that all the way back to his time in college, his home road splits have been very much favoring the home splits. And he's been bad in back-to-back games. We saw it last week at home on Thanksgiving. And over the last 2, he's combined for 3 interceptions and 3 fumbles. What's kind of saved him for fantasy is that he's thrown for 2 touchdowns in 3 straight games. And some of them, yes, they're coming in garbage time, but garbage time counts just fine for fantasy. So I don't have a problem with that too much. I think this Saints team, they're hurting across the field. They've lost Marshawn Lattimore to injured reserve, which makes their defense a little easier to get at. And I think I wouldn't have any concerns about playing Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's had 12.3 targets per game over the last 6. Over those 6, he's only had 2 games below 18.5 PPR points. He's just straight cash every week. Monty and Gibbs, I think that's the real question. Again, it's another one of these backfields where we've got questions about how to play it. What it seems like would be good for them is to kind of almost end up doing what the Bears did last year, where you would get David Montgomery for a series, then you'd get Khalil Herbert for a series, and let them figure it out like that. But it seems to be much more that they're just pushing Gibbs out there when they're chasing the game, and David Montgomery only when things are going favorably or they get to the goal line, which makes it quite tricky from a DFS point of view, unless you have a strong feeling about what the Saints are going to do this week. When you talk about the Saints, though, you mentioned it, A.T. Perry is probably going to be their wide receiver 1, and this is their wide receiver room because Chris Olave is in concussion protocol. Rashid Shaheed is dealing with a quad injury that the team have said they expect to sideline him this week. Michael Thomas already on injured reserve. They have Keith Kirkwood, Marquez Callaway, Lynn Bowden Jr., and somebody called John Trey Kirkland, who is new to me. So I think A.T. Perry at 3,300 on DraftKings is worth the dart throw. I don't think the Lions defense has shown us enough over the last couple of weeks, so we need to be scared of them particularly. And their pass defense, it ranks 13th, which is, kind of middle of the pack almost. But I don't have much faith in Derek Carr. I think it's much easier to just look at this one and go, okay, Alvin Kamara's coming off 119 all-purpose yards against the Falcons. Taysom Hill will mix in much more than we would like. And then Juwan Johnson, he had a season-high 7 targets coming out of the bye week. Derek Carr spoke about how he wanted to get him going during the bye week. So perhaps those 3 are kind of usable in redraft to an extent. In DFS, generally I've been avoiding the Saints games this year because they just have a habit of being disappointing and not really delivering high-scoring points. The Lions' run defense has been something that they've been able to lean on over the last couple of years. But in recent weeks, they've given up 20-plus point days to both Austin Eckler and Gus Edwards, so I don't really have any qualms about playing Alvin Kamara. I just probably keep him for tournaments. I'm not sure I can get there for cash, double-up multiplier games this week.
Yeah, it feels like this could be the week that everybody's pointing towards Taysom Hill and going, they've got no wide receivers, it's going to be a Taysom Hill week, and he probably doesn't even get used at all and burns everybody that puts any investment in him. But that's what happens when you invest in Taysom Hill, isn't it? Let's be honest.